conspiracy. And our mic is live.
Yeah, I go with my kid.
Okay, enough of that. If I can get this to stop now.
I love the music. Well, what am I
All
doing
right,
over here?
move over.
Oh, you have to get over. Get
Hang
the
on.
camera right. Come on. Look at that.
Okay. All right.
We're
Here's the
looking
thing.
pretty. We're looking pretty now.
Okay. I've got feedback happening here because of the face back, so I got to figure out how to reduce this. But anyway, all I know, all I know right now is uh hopefully this is
We're
working.
on. Look at my mouth works the same speed as it. It's kind of cool when I was saying things like 2 minutes ago when they came on the screen. It's
You
like,
know, nothing is worse than two old farts trying to figure out technology. I mean,
no,
seriously.
no, no, no.
Okay, I
Just
take
so you
it back.
know,
There's
what?
plenty. There's
No, 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 no.
there's plenty worse than that.
But the only thing is, there's
Thank
only
you, dear.
one that is worried about technology. This one right here is saying bullshit.
We have a Luddite. We have a Luddite.
Yes, we do. And by the way, it's the same thing. Digital currency sucks. Do
Okay.
not get
You're
fooled.
jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry, but
Okay.
let's go. Go,
All right.
Kitty.
All right. So there's something that has concerned both of us greatly. And it actually was a jointly sponsored by quite a few of the North Dakota legislators. It's a Republican bill that is concerning the hell out of me. And it revolves around glyphosate.
We don't care. The name?
Glyphosate. All right, because nothing can be named simple anymore. Every time you take a medicine, it's got to sound like something it's not.
It's crap.
It's bad. And they're running all kinds of commercials and stuff about it, which should warn you right there that there's big money behind this. It was sponsored by quite a few Republicans, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because two of them happen to be my House members from District 20, Belts and Haggart. And these people are one of two things. They're either dumber than boxes of rocks or they're patently evil.
They could be both. I mean, right?
Hadn't thought of that.
You know, it's
Okay.
Yep.
There's a
And that would
possibility
be
of a combo.
that would be my vote.
But
But
the problem with this glyphosate is the fact that what they're trying to do is they're trying to allow not just the farmers to be poisoned, but this stuff's got drift and it is actually absorbed into the plants, which means you're going to be eating it. Moms Across America has come out and there's a clip. I will put a link to this clip. And even though it's a longer clip, all you have to watch is the first 15 minutes or so to understand the dangers that are coming to us with this chemical. And when you read the legislation, it's very deceptive. Imagine that. Because I've been trying to warn people about this for several weeks now. And one of the people that was out there said, well, it doesn't seem to be anything for a bill. It just says that you're required to read the warning label. But this is much more than that. And there's quite a few states that have come out against this. Europe has banned this because we love everything that Europe does. But what I'm trying to say is they're usually ahead of us on these chemical things like the red dyes and everything else. And what we're looking at here is something that can cause major, major neurological damage. All right. It's not just your average pesticide, which is what they're trying to tell you. Don't worry about it. It's just another pesticide. Everybody's having heart attacks. And what they don't understand is if you agree to let this bill pass, what it's going to be like is when you're using the chemical, it's like you automatically are checking the box saying you read the label. This frees Bayer and Chemco China from any from any litigation that you might have for being harmed by this pesticide chemical. All right. And it can cause non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, along with endocrine disruption, birth defects, nervous system damage, neurological damage, damage to sperm, and can even androgenize baby girls, which means baby girls aren't girls anymore. They're hermaphrodites.
Do not produce.
Okay. And Bayer knows this. So does the Chinese chemical. There've been a lot of lawsuits, but what these guys have done is they've now joined with Syngenta and are trying to backdoor our ability to do this lawsuit against them. Parkinson's, you name it, this stuff is coming with it. And it's not just an application issue. So it's not just the farmer who's in danger. It's the farmer who's signing off on it to use it. But there's drift information and stuff that I'll be coming out with later, as well as the fact that it's absorbed through the plant. Thus, when you eat the plant, it's dangerous.
It doesn't die.
Your turn.
You eat that wheat. That kind of rhymes.
Well,
cute.
well,
but it's you can get it. And I tell you what, are you crazy? You sit there. I mean,
yeah,
guys, we're sitting there and we got a carcinogen here. We got something that can really destroy young people. And we're going to sit there and say, no, you can't sue me because,
I read the label.
Yes, exactly. That's all they want. And it's like going, wow. I think now I seen in the lead up to the vote was 11-0. And I heard it was 88-0 in the House of North Dakota to pass this to the Senate. Right now, we have to stop the Senate. We have to sit there and somebody has to sit there and say, this is bullshit.
Somebody has to stop this.
This does. And who's going to sit there and say, what? I remember, just this last week, I went on with Scott Hannon, or I was talking to him for a segment about it. And I sit there and I go, hey, are we going to be happy with our kids dying of cancer? And of course, he didn't want to say anything about that. But that's what's going to happen here. If we do not get this stuff, look at it. Remember DDT? It's like going, this stuff is bad stuff, and we've been using it forever. We got to stop it. I mean, right now we're talking about just being in the air and in the food. What about in our water too? I mean, there's lots of chemicals.
This is even worse than the vaccine agreement, where you can't sue somebody if you're damaged by a vaccine. What's happened is the pesticide companies want to bypass all that. They don't want any special funds, no special court systems or anything. They want no lawsuits at all. So the label that the FDA is putting on everything is saying it's fair warning, and it's enough of a warning to pesticide users. Their registration of this project, even though it doesn't say this product is safe, it does not. In fact, its classification of safety is very murky, but because they've got this label on there and you check off the box, you won't be able to sue them.
Is it sweet? You little young kids don't know that that you cannot sue. You die of cancer, you can't do anything about it. It's an outrageous little deal we got here with this stuff. And what's really, I mean, I am going to name names. I mean, like we have sponsored people I'm from Hillsboro, me and Kid are from Hillsboro too. And we have our District 20 representatives that are sponsoring this. I mean, and obviously, I'll say obviously, lots of people in North Dakota legislature are getting paid to let them kill your kids.
Okay, they're not.
Oh,
being-
that,
They're not.
that's a
being-
little extreme, but.
Well,
yeah.
they're not being paid directly. They're getting contributions. They're being well taken care of. But the problem is this.
Nice way to put it.
This legislation is coming out all across the United States. It looks like it might be going to pass in Georgia. And there's Mississippi, Wyoming is also, this is the Bayer Company, which is German, and Chem China, because they love us so much. And they're pushing for federal. They have a bill ready and waiting. If this passes federally, that means all across the country, no agrochemical company will be able to be sued if someone gets cancer, loses a child, has nervous system damage from their chemicals. This is devastating, people. This means we're giving them carte blanche to kill us.
And I tell you what, it's frustrating, but we have seen this before. And we still, it's like lots of our things that we are like this. This isn't the first time that a pharmaceutical or big company has put this kind of crap through.
Well, people think pesticides not that big a deal. Okay, so
Yes.
let me tell you something
Pesticides-
a little bit more about this because I'm a fact lady. All right.
She is.
It cannot be washed off. It absorbs into the plant, which is why it's so detrimental to our health. It actually reduces the nutrient uptake of the nutrients in the plant. And here it's being used with no repercussions. When I give you this link, that she's got a slide with a chart indicating drift level. And there's a drift level of 1/40th. It's math, but of exposure. And basically, this limits the uptake of iron, magnesium, and zinc in the plant. The root uptake of nutrients is reduced by 20 to 80%. Now, remember, I told you you're going to be ingesting this. So does this then mean that your uptake of iron, magnesium, and zinc could be hampered? Absolutely. Absolutely it does, because you are what you eat. This situation is grave. If we want to continue to look at our food supply as food, this makes GMOs look like Boy Scout camp. This stuff is nasty. Iron and zinc are the foundation for our immune systems as people. If our immune systems cannot properly process iron and zinc, we're going to be even sicker than we are today.
What we have to do, there isn't a lots of time right now. Talk to your senators. The House in North Dakota already said, "Oh, this is a wonderful idea. Killing my kids, or the future kids." You have to talk to your senators. Try to sit there and reason with them. At least let us look at the evidence. Because like I say, see if this is real. The data that moms across America expose to us.
Let me do this. Dr. Don Huber, who's a 60-year plant pathologist, he's in his 90s now, said that glyphosate gives a plant literally AIDS. It's an autoimmune disease. And then normally harmless bacteria in the soil will kill it. All right. So think about normally harmless bacteria in your home. Now that you've eaten this stuff, your autoimmune system is taken down. That means it's going to be much more detrimental to the people. She mentions even in the video, common everyday mold. It's in everybody's home. It's in everybody's home. Lyme disease, all of these other things that you and I, being old farts, have lived with all our lives and have no problem with. Our kids are going to grow up being allergic to everything. And what are most of them right now? Allergic to everything. And why? Because glyphosate is weakening our immune system to such a level that normally harmless bacteria, viruses, molds, environmental toxins, parasites like Lyme disease and other things are making us sicker than ever before.
We are in trouble. We have to sit there and at least start looking at this stuff. And why somebody has to be sitting there and fighting back on this. And it's like it's dead silence out there. And that's what scares me because nobody's talking about it. Have you heard anybody say we need to look at this?
For the
Have any
commercials,
you
the commercials saying, these are
good.
great.
Great stuff. Oh,
You gotta be
well,
crazy.
you got to let your farmers.
Stuff yield.
Yes, I mean, what?
Another bushel.
Hell, you might get another bushel per acre. And guess what? This isn't the only pesticide that you have, or
It's not.
I should say herbicide. Okay,
This
same
is a
thing.
pesticide.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, hell, you know how much I hate pesticides
I
anyway.
know.
Because I tell you what, as sad as it is, Kitty, I sit there and I love the insects and the butterflies and everything that used to be. I mean, I miss that stuff. I sit there and I remember rolling at looking at thousands and thousands of butterflies in my alfalfa field, and now there's none. I mean, I realize we have to worry about because grasshoppers can cause havoc, but really, I think we have to start looking at all the possibilities. There's other things than just producing 47 acres or
One-
47
one more
bushels.
bushel.
One more bushel. No, we have to sit there and figure out how we can work together with it, with nature and things that we really like.
There's another thing.
Bees, but everything's
But
gone.
there's another thing. You know, there's aluminum in vaccines.
Yes.
Okay, well, this
love that.
this stuff chelates the aluminum that's in vaccines and actually draws it up into the brain. So in other words, if you're on glucophosphate, you're on this crap.
This,
You're on this crap. It's increasingly harmful because then every vaccine you take, which has aluminum in it as a preservative, it draws that aluminum up into the brain area. Aluminum in your brain, not good, people. We've got to work to stop this. Now you've got the bill number so people can go out and do their
HB
13 House Bill HB 1318 in North Dakota.
Yep.
You must go out, just put HB 1318 commentary, whatever. You want to go out, you want to do written testimony, you want to email your legislators, you want to tell them that this is not just a bill about a farmer's ability to read a label. This is not what the commercials are telling you. This is completely the opposite.
And,
This is like most things. The devil's in the details.
and it's so frustrating because we have lots of we like to go quote conservative media people that are sitting there thinking this is the answer. It's like, all right,
Again, paying.
agriculture has lots of money, and it isn't the farmers that are the problem. It's the people. It's the people that the companies above them that need this. The pharmaceutical, not pharmaceutical companies. The
It's the same thing. Being also
agriculture
but-
companies
but-
and stuff like that. It's ugly. It's really. This is one thing we have to look at. Please, people in North Dakota, look, at least study this.
We're not going to be around that much longer.
But
But-
speak for yourself.
But seriously, think about your grandkids. Think about their potential to have children and their safety. This is some of the worst stuff I've seen in a long time. And I am not a tree hugger.
No, we're not.
I am not chemical bad. I'm not a tree hugger. But I will tell you, this stuff is bad.
15 minutes, watch Moms Across America.
Well, actually, what I'll do is I'll put the link
Oh, okay.
in the bottom in the comments when we're done in the live feed on Facebook. And like I said, there's quite a bit. They're doing other things in this podcast, and it's in like the first 15 minutes, you're gonna be mind blown. You're just gonna sit and go, there's no way it can be this bad. Yeah, there is.
It is.
It's nasty. And these people want to make sure that this nastiness comes without any strings attached, that there's no way that when you end up sick, when your grandchildren end up sick, when the negative repercussions suddenly start to appear, they're going to go, yeah, you read the label. You checked the box.
So,
Not
buckos.
buckos,
Yep.
pound sand.
And you know what ties in well with this?
What?
And we're talking about things that bug us today.
Well, things that they're being sneaky about. So yeah.
Yes, sneaky things. How about term limits? We'll just segue right into the fact that these people that are pushing this kind of crap, this poison on us, also want to be elected with no problems and or reelected, I should say too. I mean, and
What do you mean
didn't we
term limits?
term limits? Don't you remember that the people in North Dakota voted that they don't want these clowns to be our voice for like 25, 30 years?
Our
Because
rulers?
rulers. Whoa, that sounds so
Our
vicious.
rulers.
That sounds so communist like. It sounds so East East Germanish. I mean, this is yeah. Term limits.
Call it like it is.
They are sitting there and telling us, yeah, we are not smart enough to decide what we want to do with our voting. We sit there and lots of us guys, people said, no, we don't want to see you forever in our state legislature.
No.
Because guess what? I mean, the more time you spend in the legislature, the more time that the lobbyists get a chance to buy you off. And no, obviously nobody in North Dakota is being bought off, are they? Okay, at least not every one of them, and that's true. There is some good legislatures out there.
Righteous, but unfortunately, they're woefully outnumbered.
Are you thinking woefully outnumbered?
I do.
Well, if 3 out of 4 is woefully outnumbered, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're woefully outnumbered.
I know, and it's really disappointing because I tell you what, do not want to sit there and listen to any more of the propaganda on term limits. I mean, like, oh my God, the brain drain. What happens if these guys go? It's like going, oh, okay, so you elected a bunch of idiots. Is that what you're telling us, North Dakota? I do give a lots of hard time to the people of North Dakota, saying that you are not thinking all the time, and that's us. We don't always think, because let's admit it, there's no way this is like a brain drain. Go ahead, Kitty.
It's indispensable. They would like to think they are. And
Okay.
that's the way they're presenting themselves. They're presenting themselves as, well, if you don't have me as your representative, you're not going to have any voice. Yeah, we will. You are not God, even though you'd like to think you are. Here's the problem. The North Dakota voters imposed term limits in a ballot measure in 2022. And this is where they were smart, because the ballot measure said the only way to undo the term limits in the Constitution would be through another citizen-initiated measure, not through the legislature. That's why these hoops are being jumped through, because they're going to have to send it back to a vote to the people. They hate that fact. They would love to be able to just wave their little magic wands and say, oh, well, those people didn't know what they were in there. They're so stupid.
How many times have I heard our conservative media people saying that, oh my God, they didn't know we don't know what we're doing.
We didn't know what we were voting for. They said that at the forum we attended. Oh, well, people must not have known what they were voting for.
It's insulting.
Yes.
And it's like going, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna sit there and they're gonna have lots of money. And of course, then again, you have to know how well the voting is being counted too. Be careful about that stuff.
Well, we won't go down
We-
that rabbit
We're
hole.
not gonna go there. No, that rabbit hole is wide, but we have to work on it. No, term limits. We ask these people, we do not want you to sit there and represent us for your entire life. And that's what they want to do. And why do they want to make, because basically when they're in the Senate in North Dakota and the legislature in North Dakota, they don't make lots of money because of being that representative.
Well, they whine and tell us how bad it is, how much of a burden it is,
But they want to do
but they
it.
want to do it all the
It's
time.
like going, doesn't that make you sit there and think about that? Why? Oh,
Oh,
there's
because
no lobbyists don't help them, do they?
I have a desire to serve the people. I'm so willing to put
And
myself out.
And why? Because I'm the smartest damn person in the state. Are you kidding me? All right, you're running for legislature and you sit there and you have no idea what's going to happen here. You are that stupid, and you're going to go to Bismarck and have to learn it for 4 years or something like that.
Okay.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Let's do
If
this.
you cannot figure out how to vote on measures in 13 seconds, do not run for the Senate or the legislature or the governor of North Dakota.
Well, here's the thing. The measure that we voted on, approved voter limits to serving up to 8 years in the House and then up to 8 years in the Senate. All right. So that's still 16 years.
16 years
All right.
of possible hell.
All right. Now, the resolution adopted by the Senate would limit the lawmakers to 4 complete 4-year terms in the legislature. The resolution also says partial terms don't count. Okay. Now, here's another fun one. Here's another one that they wanted. Resolution 3034 proposed a statewide vote on term limits of 12 years in office for lawmakers and most statewide elected officials. They could serve up to another 12 years if they left office for 4 years. Why don't we just come out and say it? You want a freaking career. You want a career. You piss and you moan. Oh, we don't have enough per diem time. We don't get enough for lunches. Oh, it's such a burden. Make sure you vote for me and elect me again. And I want to be there for 30 or 40 years. Okay.
Okay.
There's something going on. I mean, seriously, if it's that big of a burden and if it's that much of a pain in the ass, quit.
Get done with it. My God, you guys, I mean,
There's a reason they're
we are-
fighting. Like the third monkey trying to get on the ark to keep these jobs.
and it isn't honest to us.
It isn't.
I mean, obviously, think about this. You got to sit there and say, they're complaining about this stuff, but they still want to do it. Do you really think that Roars from Fargo is that lovely of a person that she's going to suffer for it? Do you think Koppelman is? What about O'Brien up in Grand Forks? I mean, we got Haggard and Belts in my district, in District 20 in Hillsborough. Do you think those guys really love you that much that they're going to suffer for you? No.
Tell you, when I was at that forum, I felt nothing but disdain. Love wasn't what I felt. And why? Because I questioned them.
No, do not. If you want to be a good North Dakotan,
Don't
vote
question your legislators.
vote for the Republican, because he's obviously the best choice, which is, well, when you vote 20% or 80% against the Republican.
Against
or
conservative.
Yeah.
Don't get the two mixed up.
I know. I apologize for
Yeah,
that.
you should apologize for that one,
Yeah,
boy.
I should. That's the worst. But that is the thing. We have to sit there and we have to be smart about it. You have to realize, one, we did a good job on term limits.
We did.
We did. I'm very happy.
Spalded
There-
rules to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's a good thing for North Dakota. But these guys are, and I can't say, and guess what? We will sooner or later lose some pretty good people. But guess what? They can obviously go to North Dakota the Bismarck and talk about things that they believe in. All right. They don't have to be able to vote, but they can sit there and go say, let's say, who's a good guy? Randy Lamb. He's from my district. He's a good, pretty dang good conservative. And if he wants to go and sit there and say, hey, I want this,
Jeff Magram's good.
Jeff May, there's a lots of good. No, okay.
No, okay.
There's a few good people out there. Sit
Thank
there
you.
and say, hey, after what, 8 years?
And all they do is piss and moan about, oh my God. So why is it so tough for them to let go?
There's probably some money.
There's something.
Is it? I mean, really?
Baby perks.
Yes.
I mean, and then there's this other thing that they're doing. They're trying to pass this. The North Dakota Senate on Wednesday passed a bill to combat false and misleading information in political advertisements. An issue one senator said is an increasing problem in states' elections. Censure Code already makes publishing false or misleading information on billboards, in pamphlets or other handouts or traditional media sources a misdemeanor, which carries a maximum punishment about a year in jail and a $3,000 fine. All right. They originally sought to amend the code to include social media and text messages and everything else. And the thing is this, is that I agree. If you're making false statements, you better be able to back them up about somebody. But here's the thing. They're saying that this makes it easier for outside interests to come in and influence elections, to which I want to say, oh, you mean like you did with property tax measure 4? Where all of your outside money, millions of dollars came in from the outside in order to scare people that they were no longer going to have paved roads. They weren't going to have fire service. They weren't going to have a sheriff's department. Is that what you're talking about? Because, gee, who's going to now take you guys on when you do that? My guess is nobody. And if one of us says something out on social media and you decide that you're going to attack us for it, that means that we, under fear of litigation, am going to have to get a lawyer to defend us. And even if we're found innocent at the end of it, this is another sneaky peeky bad bill that's being rammed through to protect their asses and expose ours.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna sit there and call on all of this crap freedom of speech. All right. Do you have to tell the truth? Obviously not. Because we have lots of legislature, we have lots of media, we have everybody that is bullshitting us.
What's the truth? Whose
What?
perception is the truth?
Yes.
We just stated facts about glyphosate. And guess what? There's going to be a whole bunch of people in the chemical business that are going to stand up and tell us that we're blowing smoke.
Yep.
So whose truth is valid? Whose truth deserves to be published?
You got to figure it out. You have to look at the evidence, people, in North Dakota, and we haven't been doing a good job of that. I mean, I hate to. I mean, I know I don't actually hate to yell and bitch at you guys, but sit there and think about it. We have to get people more involved, more active in saying this crap's got
More
to stop.
knowledgeable. Do some research on your own. Don't just listen to the mainstream media. You can tell I'm upset. I'm all red. But I am. I know.
But you're still beautiful.
Oh, bless you, my child. But I mean, I'm tired of the people, and I understand it takes time. God knows I understand. Ask this man how much time I spend on the computer. He claimed one day that I had it attached to an intravenous line, and I'm just sitting on it. But it's the only way I am able to find out stuff, and then hopefully be able to bring it to you in a shorter version so that you can then do some more research. Like I used to tell my students, don't just trust me. Go out and look at my resources, find resources of your own. But dear Lord, do something besides show up and check next to an R or check next to a D and think that these people care more about you than you do, that they care more about your family than you're capable of doing, because that is not the case. They truly, truly, in a vast majority of the cases, don't care. They don't.
No, I mean, obviously, these people, it's all money,
Power.
power. Well, one thing we have to look at is something that really kind of irks me a lot is if you see my shirt.
And property tax.
I mean, we have a situation here where we're
Yes.
talking about property taxes, right? Any property taxes. And I understand that, the legislatures figured, oh my God, and everybody in North Dakota, like their governor and stuff like, and
They'll lose their candy bag. They'll lose all the perks that they can offer their buddies and use themselves. The tips, the pilots.
and the property taxes is something that is an ugly little tax. But now we're talking about this, how wonderful this is. That we have this little deal where what's gonna happen here is property owners, and me and kid are property owners, and lots of people in North Dakota are I should say primary house
Renters.
owners. No
Yeah,
renters.
I know, but this is all for
But-
primary house owners.
Yes,
or
yes,
things like
and we're
that.
gonna get the money and everything's gonna be okay because my God, all these they're not gonna lose their houses right away and stuff like that. But this is the bait and switch thing,
Mhm.
because guess what? What's gonna happen? This thing isn't going to go well for other people in North Dakota. And it's like, it's us. We're involved in it. Businesses, small businesses.
Small business.
And but renters too, by the way, are going to get hammered the worst, by the way, because what's going to happen here is, I'm going to get my, 3% is the most they can increase it for me as a primary
Housing.
house owner. That's all they can do, right?
Money's gotta come from somewhere.
And where's it going to come from? It's going to come from people, businesses.
Small business.
Small businesses are going to be suffering because what? It's going to all increase because they want to get their certain amount of money.
You have
During property taxes. And it's like going, you sit there and they're going to get it somewhere. And right now, it's going to come from two places. Small businesses,
commercial.
big commercial businesses, but they can afford it.
Yes.
And renters.
It's-
Because we're property owners. We rent out properties
Full
for ourselves.
disclosure, absolutely.
Yep. And sit there and guess what? When we decide how much rent is going to be, we obviously look at insurance,
Property
taxes, and how much we owe on it,
You have
So-
to do the math.
Yep. And so, yeah, it's obvious.
You're not in
But
business to break even.
You know what sucks about this property tax? Because it's going to hammer you people that are renting.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to raise, because the property owner has to
Pass it on.
pass it on. Because obviously, guess what? We do want to make money. Me and Kit want to make money.
I would like to retire,
Yes.
actually physically
And-
retire someday.
And this bill this new thing that all the people that own residential property, they're going to get this bill, but it's going to be, like I say, bait and switch. It's going to be put on you guys.
Your sales
renters.
taxes are gonna go, it's funny,
Yep.
because
And
during
small
the fight,
businesses are
yeah,
gonna go to
during
shit.
the fight for this, they said, it's like taking money out of one pocket and putting it back in the other. Well, that's exactly what the thing that they've proposed right now is doing. And I just find that just so hypocritical. Because what's going to happen is the bigger corporations, the Walmarts and everybody else, that they used as the icon for saying, oh, well, we can't let them get away with not paying property tax. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Their property taxes are going to go up. So is going to be Dakota TV and Appliance, Hugo's, all the small guys and stuff that are in the smaller towns are Cenexes and all these other things. Their taxes and stuff are going to go up, which means the price on their products and stuff are going to go up. Now, who do you think is going to be able to hold out longer, Walmart or Dakota TV and Appliance?
We're in trouble. They did a great job. Thanks, Armstrong.
So-
It was a damn great plan.
When you're
Bait and
TV,
switch
when you're
is
out
an
looking through a
answer.
TV and you want to buy local, but the local guy's got to charge you $100 more for a TV, what are you going to do?
Because of property taxes,
What are you going to do?
you're gonna sit there and yeah, you gotta be because you're paying more rent because of the property tax crap. Because okay, we're so great, we're gonna give these homeowners a break. We're gonna screw everybody else. That's what's called bait and switch. We fell for it, and I tell you what, I kind of feel kind of guilty because I haven't been on this case a long time. I should have been on it right away, saying this is crap, and
I said it for you.
I know
Nobody listened, but I said it
nobody
for you.
said no. Kitty's thinking, well, she is. I don't want to say the smart one of the two, but she is wise, and yes,
I have this on recording.
I know this sucks, but I do admit that there is going to be some problems with it. I mean, we have to get this straightened out. And no, this isn't the answer. So guess what? People, when somebody people that are renting, everybody, when we come back with a petition to end property taxes, you sit there and you go and you sign that damn thing because this is what's going to happen. Neither it's like going, obviously, people that are renting, small businesses, you need to think about this.
They have to pass the cost on, otherwise they can't afford to be in business. Nobody's in business to break even.
Yep.
And the profit margins today are tighter than ever. And in fact, it was pretty funny because they're so cavalier about it because, in fact, it was Scott Hannigan who
Wow,
who was
I love
promoting today the American Experiments, who I usually like, but they're touting the cap and crush, cap local spending and crush the income tax. All right. And he came out with this wonderful thing. He said, well, I don't think anybody making under $80,000 is probably paying property taxes in North Dakota.
What the hell is he from?
I don't know, but he's not where I know.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I know you actually think Scotty's pretty decent. No. Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
Now I'm turning
Martha
red.
Marion Joseph.
Now I'm turning red.
You-
Holy crap.
The coach has got your name on it tonight for that faux pas, but what I'm trying to say is, again, cutting the income tax is going to help very few people, especially those on fixed incomes. All right.
Yes.
And it still allows them to take your home. If you can't pay the specials, if you can't pay the
Property tax, yeah.
property tax, if you can't pay any of this stuff, they can still come and take your home. That what we're looking for is for your ability to have a home to live in. But what they're doing is they're muddying the waters by saying, well, all those big corporations, they're not paying their fair share. No, because big corporations never pay their fair share. You do.
Yes.
Don't fall for the sleight of hand. Don't fall for the magic show. Oh, look at the bright shiny object over here as they're picking your pocket and taking your watch.
Wow. I could sit there and go right back to Scott Hannon.
Oh
because
God,
he
we gotta stop this, but.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, all right.
We got about
But-
15 minutes left, so.
15 minutes? I love it. I am going to sit there and say, I mean, the man got a job. He does it well for himself. But where the heck
I
was I
have no
going?
idea.
I was gonna sit there and say, whoops, talk about screwing up. And this is live. And I lost my mind.
Here's the
But,
thing.
but
I have nothing personally against Mr. Hanna.
No.
I do not. But I do believe he is a capitalist crony.
crony capital,
I do believe that he knows what side his bread is buttered on, and he wants to make sure he's got a lifetime supply of bread and butter for him and his children. I understand that. Perfect. But at what price? At what price do you sell your soul? At what price do you knowingly obfuscate for the CO2 companies
that's what bugs me.
and everything else when you have got to know that it isn't for the better?
One,
I can't do it myself. Now, that's probably my failing. I would have probably been much wealthier had I been able to say, screw everybody else, I got mine.
one thing, CO2. Okay, this is what I love. And this is from we get from 1100 is that this is the problem really is that the CO2 that we breathe out, that our cows fart out, is reasonable stuff. But we have to capture the dirty
CO2.
CO2 that comes from these plants in Illinois and Fargo and every one of them.
Because
So
the
we can
farmers
we
will
have
sell
to
more
get
corn.
we have to get that damn CO2, carbon dioxide, out of the area. Are you kidding me? That's the most stupid thing. It's like some of it is this. There, 1100 always does this. Some of it is just natural CO2. It's natural. But then again, the company stuff that comes out, the CO2 that comes out of this company is dirty CO2. And that's why we have to pipe that stuff over to these little reservoirs in around Bismarck or actually Dickinson and stuff to store it and stuff like that. That is what we have to do. And what really irks me is the fact that the companies that say we got to do this stuff, like the oil companies, are going to make money off of it, but we still have to pay for it.
Yeah, I was listening to an ad today that was touting, of course, the energy company. Of course, it was on the 1100 because that's all energy all the time during the morning.
Yes.
But they were saying how much money the oil industry and everything else pays in the schools and everything else and stuff. And
Half of our
I'm just sitting there going, I haven't seen it registering in my taxes at all. Not at all. Well, honey, have we bitched enough?
one thing about that, remember these companies, these oil companies that pay for half of the money we make. No, guess what? They get it back. They sit there and they charge more for you. So they are not this great little like supplier of taxes.
The tax breaks.
Yeah, because guess what? They put it back into. You think they sit there and go, "Oh, we're going to absorb that we because we love you that much." No, they're sitting there and they're going to put it more on to how much you pay for your gas, how much heating oil and stuff cost. Yes, they are not your friends. They do not love you.
Plus, they get all the tax breaks. They get all, and if you take a look, if you really want to know how lucrative this is, look at how many of your legislators, including your governor, own oil wells.
We should have. I'm seriously, that was a mistake in our life, not buying into.
We invested in property. Silly us.
Yes.
Well, in our next life, right? I don't know, honey. I'm very tired. I wish that we could do better. But in the meantime, you ready to say goodbye?
I say North Dakota.
Pull your head out.
Pull your head out of your ass. That's what I usually say. But I say, suck it up. Let's do something about this.
And as always, we assume no responsibility for liability for any errors or omissions in content of this site. Although I will tell you, I do tend to do my research. Now, the next question is, will you do yours?
Ta-da.
Because that's what's necessary. Everybody, take care. Thank you very much. God bless.